Welcome to Sacred Shift 30 Days to Regulate Your Female Nervous System. I'm Leslie Draffin. I am a certified trauma informed somatic practitioner, a breath and meditation teacher, menstrual cycle educator, and a psychedelic guide. So, for the next 30 days, you have a tool at your fingertips to help you expand your capacity to feel safe in your body. The shift method is something I created just over a year ago when I was in a really deep state of grief because I needed a way to fully feel my emotions without bottling them up, because that has always been my MO, bottling my emotions up. And so, knowing what I know about psychedelic mushrooms and how healing those have been for me, I also knew that it would not be a smart choice to work with those sacred medicines because of how much grief I was currently in. I had created Shift right after my dog died. And so I developed the shift method because I wanted something quick. I wanted something that could be a daily ritual. And I wanted it to include some of the really, I guess you could say, popular choices for somatic practices without including meditation. As someone with ADHD and someone who suffered from anxiety, meditation can be really hard for me, even though I'm a certified and trained meditation teacher. And so, shift is a meditative practice that actually does not require meditation at all. So, why do we shift? I believe sacred ritual, like the shift method, helps rewire our nervous system, regulate emotions, expand our capacity to feel safe in the body, and it strengthens our body-mind connection. And I really feel that this 9-minute practice is perfectly balanced between masculine and feminine energy. Why? Because there are 3 practices within Shift that have a really strong structure. You're going to do 2 minutes of brain dump journaling, 3 minutes of breath work, and 4 minutes of somatic movement. That's a really strong masculine container. However, what you're doing during those 2, 3, and 4 minutes can shift, no pun intended. And it's designed to be a dynamic, intuitive method so that whatever's coming up for you in that moment can be seen, felt, and expressed. And so what I mean by that is some days you might be coming into your shift method, and as you scan for the sensations in your body, which is the first letter S in shift, you might notice a lot of irritation. And so then your breath work pattern and your movement pattern might be expressing that irritation. Other days you might feel really tired. Other days you're going to be feeling really happy. Maybe you're feeling sad. And so the feminine aspect of shift is that it flows based on how you are feeling day to day. Now, my intention for this 30-day program is to give you a really amazing look at all of the different types of somatic practices you could potentially use to include in your shift method, right? And I knew that if I was just going to be recording 30 days straight of the shift method for myself, then you might not get what you need from it. And so every single day we'll have a special theme. Today's theme is anxiety, which you already know because that was in the title. And so my hope is that at the end of these 30 days, you have a robust somatic self-care toolbox full of practices that you can rely on when you feel a certain type of way. And so we'll be going through emotions that feel really sticky and tricky, like anxiety and panic and grief and sadness. And we'll also be going through emotions that feel light and exciting, love, open-heartedness, energy, joy. And the reason for that is that the shift method is not just something you're going to use when you feel like shit. It's not something that you only use when you're dysregulated. Shift really should, hopefully, become a practice that you are leaning on almost daily, no matter whether you're feeling great or if you're feeling kind of bad. And that is because nervous system capacity and expanding and rewiring and regulating cannot only happen when we're feeling dysregulated. No. We need to feel our capacity expand even in the times when we feel really good. And I think that that's one thing that's a big misconception about somatic healing. And it's certainly something that I forget about too. Because let's be honest, when we're feeling like crap, that's when we want to reach for our tools. We don't always want to reach for the tools or even remember to reach for the tools when we're feeling really good. And so what I would encourage you to do for the next 30 days is commit to doing this every day. It's going to take you less than 15 minutes. We'll have every day probably a little bit of chat beforehand, but I want these to be quick, right? So that you can get in and get out. What else? Let's talk about what the shift method is, right? The shift guide has been sent to you, but just to refresh your memory, shift is 2 minutes of brain dump journaling, 3 minutes of breath work, and 4 minutes of intuitive movement. Now, during those 9 minutes, you're going to be following the acronym SHIFT, and that stands for scan for sensation, honor what comes up, inhale, flow, and then take stock. And so, what I mean by that is in the first 2 minutes of brain dump journaling, you're really going to do a quick little body scan and just scan for any sensations that come up for you. Does anything call your attention? Maybe if this is the first time doing this, you're not really feeling anything. And so, a thought that might come up for you is, oof, am I doing this right? Well, we're going to honor anything that comes up in those moments, right? And so you would just jot that down. I don't really feel anything. Am I doing this right? Oh, now I feel a little bit irritated or confused. It's a really great example of what you might choose to write in your journal. The other thing I'll say about when we scan for sensation is that oftentimes the sensations that first peek out to us and call our attention are sensations of tension or pain. And that's totally okay. Today, we're focusing on anxiety. And so if you're not feeling anxiety, that's totally okay. I certainly don't want you to start thinking about something that feels anxious to you, right? I just want you to scan for any sensation in the body and then honor any thoughts, feelings, beliefs, or memories that come up for you and just jot those down. Now, the second part of shift is 3 minutes of breath work. Throughout this 30-day program, we will go through a lot of different types of breath work. And today's breath is really pretty simple. It's simply extending the exhale. And all that means is just inhaling and then exhaling. And as you exhale, let the exhale be longer than the inhale. And I'll explain to you while we're in the practice why that works so well for anxiety. The fourth part of shift is somatic movement. And like I said, this is really a dynamic practice. Whatever comes up for you in that moment, whatever your body is calling for, I want you to do, even if I'm guiding you through something a little bit different, okay? Today, we're going to be working with bilateral stimulation. Again, an excellent tool for combating anxiety. And I will guide you through those movements when those come up, okay? Finally, T in the shift method stands for take stock. At the end of this, we're going to just pause. What else do you need? We're going to name what that need is, and we're going to figure out a way to nourish that moving forward in the day. Finally, what I want to say to you is that I'm really proud of you for showing up and for committing to 30 days to regulate your nervous system. That can be, something that feels really big and feels really hard and feels really challenging. And so what I really hope you leave with today and every day is just a feeling of better connection to self, more groundedness, feeling more able to move through the day, centered and in yourself, right? Because for me, somatic healing really is about coming back home to the body, coming back home to your authentic self, and moving through the day from your feminine power. Okay? So that's what I'm hoping for you today. So grab your journal. You're going to be seated for today's exercise. We're going to move through some things to help combat anxiety. And I'll play some music. I'll guide you. Got my journal here. Let's get going. All right. 2 minutes of journaling as you scan for sensation and honor anything that comes up for you. And I just want you to jot those things down when they do. Okay? About 30 seconds left. I'll also add, you don't have to write full sentences. You can just do words or write the sensation, or if words aren't feeling like they want to come to you, you could just draw a little picture, right? Maybe a smiley face or a frowny face, whatever you want. Okay? And that is time. So that is it for your journaling. You put your journal to the side, and now we're going to move into the 3 minutes of breath work. Okay? And as I said, the breath pattern today is just in through the nose, out through the mouth, making the exhale longer than the inhale. Okay? You can close the eyes if you like, or keep them open, whatever feels best for you. Let's go. Couple of tips. I like to purse my lips like I'm blowing out a straw. That really helps me to control the exhale and make it as long as possible. And so play a game with yourself. How long can you exhale? Perfect. Now, why does this particular breath pattern work so well for anxiety? It's because it brings online your parasympathetic nervous system, where you feel safer in the body. Anxiety is often a place of upregulation, and so you need the opposite medicine to bring you back down into what's called your window of tolerance. Exhales that are longer than your inhales is a perfect way to do that. And if you want to add one other thing, make a sound as you exhale. Maybe it's a hum, an ooh, an ah, just a sigh, whatever feels good for you. That's also helping to stimulate your vagus nerve, which is central to your nervous system. And as you stimulate that vagus nerve, again, it can help you down regulate in this capacity if you're feeling anxious. Now, I want you to get curious about where you're feeling the breath come into the body as you inhale. Do you feel the chest expanding? Do you feel it in the middle of the body? Do you feel the shoulders coming up? If you do, take a moment and I want you to place a hand on the belly and see if the next inhale, you can move the hand forward, or maybe you feel the belly expand to the sides. Just bringing that breath down lower in the body, into the diaphragm. Perfect. Inhaling, feeling that belly rise and expand as it softens. And as you exhale, feeling it come back. Perfect. Excellent. All right. Now let's move into the third part of shift, which is the movement. We're going to be working with bilateral stimulation today. And so the first move I want you to do is crossing the hands over the shoulders. Just tap right to left. You can go along with the beat, fast with the beat, or slow it down, whatever feels good for you. And I want you to layer that with the breath work that we were just doing. So inhaling and exhaling longer than inhale. Perfect. Now you might want to also just do a little bit of swaying. And so you can continue swaying as you tap, or just keep the hands crossed over the shoulders. Maybe give yourself some loving touch over the collarbones as you sway right to left. Down regulating that nervous system, bringing you back into your window of capacity, your window of tolerance. Perfect. Now let's try a different form of bilateral stimulation, putting the feet flat on the ground, bringing the hands to the tops of the knees. I just want you to walk in place. You can't see me, but I'm lifting my right leg and then my left leg. Hands can just stay on the knees, or you can bring the hand up and down and tap the knee as you stomp. It's not really a stomp, I guess I should say. You're just kind of walking in place. Maybe your feet, your toes stay on the ground and your heels just bob up and down. Whatever feels good for you. Remembering to breathe. Beautiful. Now the last bilateral stimulation I want to show you today, you can bring your body into stillness and open the eyes. So what happens when we're anxious is we lose our peripheral vision, and we really have tunnel vision. This is why you might feel really anxious if you have a lot of screen time, because your peripheral vision just goes offline. So what I want you to do is drop the head to the right and then look to the left. Just letting the eyes move as much as is comfortable for them. Come back to center. Drop the head to the left, look to the right. Coming back to center. And then moving the full head left as you track up and down. And I want you to slowly move the head all the way to center, just looking up, down, sort of tracking where you are. And then all the way to the right, tracking where you are, up and down. Perfect. Coming back to center. And that's your shift method. That's it. Today you learned how to scan for sensation and honor what comes up. And if that didn't really work for you today, and this is something that's new to you, don't beat yourself up about it, right? We want to meet ourselves with compassion and curiosity. And also remember that if this is the first time you've connected to your body, it's like meeting a new friend. Hopefully, when you meet somebody new, they don't just trauma dump everything on you and tell you everything about themselves at once. That can be so overwhelming. So if your body's a little quiet, that's totally okay. This is meeting a new friend. This is building a relationship with your body. And let me be honest, your body wants to be your friend. What I have found in the 6+ years that I've been doing this work is that if you meet yourself with compassion and curiosity, honoring your body, it will open to you. It will show you what it needs you to do for it, okay? And so as we take stock, right, in this moment, noticing anything else coming up for you. How is your anxiety feeling? If you logged onto this feeling anxious, what's that like for you right now? If you logged onto this because you are on day 1 of Sacred Shift, then how are you feeling? I didn't come into this feeling anxious at all, but man, I feel so grounded right now. And I want you to name out loud how you feel. How are you feeling? And then finally, what else can you do today to nourish yourself? I'm recording this on a holiday, on Labor Day. And so what am I going to do for the rest of the day to really expand this feeling of awesomeness, of calm groundedness? I personally am going to move through my day, remembering this anchor that I've created for myself. And that's what I want for you as well. For the next 30 days, moving through the day after your shift method like you have anchored into self, because that's truly what we're doing here, right? So just to refresh your memory, we did extended exhales. We did breathing through a pursed lip, through the straw. We exhaled with sound. All of those things are fabulous tools for you to use if you're ever feeling anxious. As far as movement goes, we used bilateral stimulation, both in the butterfly tap We swayed, we kind of stomped or walked in place, and then we did that peripheral vision tracking, right? To really help you signal to the body that you are safe. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. I'm so proud of you, and I will see you in your next shift session.